I do want to emphasize that this is only the beginning.
Coming up, Hurricane Florence coming ashore this morning in North Carolina, causing devastation across the coast with thousands without power.
Plus, I'm a paralyzed father. I had to get him out of here as quickly as possible. You know, they told us to get out. Insane.
One person is dead and at least 6 others hurt after a series of explosions in Massachusetts, what caused dozens of homes and businesses to blow up. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC 7 News at noon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Hurricane Florence making landfall in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina this morning. The hurricane's winds now down to Category 1 status. So far, more than 500,000 people have lost power in North Carolina. You're taking a live look now out of Wilmington, North Carolina. 150 people in the town of New Bern, North Carolina, are trapped by floodwaters and need to be rescued. Crews and volunteers are already racing to save as many as possible. Some families have gone to the second floor into attics of their homes to get away from that flooding. Meteorologist Josh Stone is in for John today and has the latest now on Hurricane Florence. Josh?
All right, Scott, we'll get to that in just a second, but I want to show you we have beautiful conditions here today, 86 degrees right now, and the humidity at 72%. So really the radar for us is looking very nice. Now there could be a few showers and storms that get going inland later on this afternoon. I know a lot of people are going out to those Friday night football games, so we'll have to see if any of those outflow boundaries trigger any storms. But of course the big weather story and news story is what's happening to our northeast. You can see also with the day planner as we go through the afternoon and early evening hours, a few showers get going. But this is what's going on to our northeast. Hurricane Florence, been talking about this for days now. It's now a Category 1. Here's the stats on it. Gusts at 100 miles per hour, winds at 80. That's sustained winds. But of course, this storm is producing very heavy rain. And of course, we'll break it down for you and talk about what else is going on in the tropics a little bit later. Back to you, Scott.
We'll take a look at this. This is flooding in the town of Belhaven, North Carolina. Belhaven is on the Pungo River, which has overflowed its banks from Florence's storm surge. Those who decided to stay already asking for help. And many restaurants and homes were boarded up ahead of the hurricane. One restaurant owner in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, has a clear message for some. They wrote, "Looters will be shot." Right now, several local agencies are on their way to respond to Hurricane Florence. Others are on standby to respond. ABC 7's Marla Spence joins us now in the studio with a look at what's being done to help those in the Carolinas. Marla?
Well, Scott, local agencies on the Suncoast are willing and ready to help along the East Coast after Hurricane Florence made landfall this morning. Right now, 2 volunteers along with an emergency vehicle with Sarasota's American Red Cross are on their way to respond to Hurricane Florence. The volunteers were deployed at 10 this morning and will be staged in Georgia. A Red Cross official tells us they do not send their volunteers in the path of the storm, but send them as close as possible, and once it's safe, volunteers will then move in. Before today, the organization sent 24 volunteers, and the local Red Cross is accepting monetary donations and are looking for more people in the community to help.
This is going to be a long-term effort. It's not going to be over in the weekend. And so, you know, we fully anticipate that we'll be up there depending on the amount of rainfall, depending on the flooding and whatever develops out of the storm, that we'll be able to send people up there probably in a week or 2 or even longer after that.
The Venice Fire Department is also on standby. The fire chief there tells us his team has 3 personnel and a Venice fire engine ready to head out if they get that call. Now, many people have escaped the path of the storm by making their way south. A couple from Myrtle Beach drove close to 12 hours, and another couple evacuating from Charleston, South Carolina to the Suncoast, bringing all their important items for their wedding in just 2 weeks, including their rings, wedding attire, and bridal party gifts. Both couples are seeking refuge with family members in Venice. Back to you, Scott.
All right, Marla, thank you. Right now, the American Red Cross is working with South Carolina Army National Guard to deliver cots and blankets to people impacted by the hurricane. National Guard tweeting this new video out last night showing truckloads of cots heading to evacuation centers. And we're still in the heart of hurricane season here on the Suncoast. To help you prepare, check out our free ABC 7 apps as well as a printable 2018 Hurricane Guide at mysuncoast.com. Now to some breaking news in Northport. Right now, police are on the scene of a deadly shooting. The department's crime scene unit is set up on Erie Court. Police say a man was shot a little more after 10 o'clock this morning. Police are not releasing any other information about the victim, but they do say they believe they have the shooter in custody and there's no threat to the nearby community. Police say the shooting was the result of a dispute between neighbors. We have a crew on the way. We'll bring you more information when it comes into our newsroom. Well, more on the storm in just a moment, but first to an emergency north of Boston. Gas explosions ripping through at least 60 homes and buildings almost simultaneously, injuring dozens and killing at least one person. ABC's Lindsay Davis has the story.
They need to stop all gas into this area. They need to get it stopped.
Armageddon is how the fire chief described the scene here, as homes throughout 3 bucolic Boston suburbs burst into flames without warning.
We got another one, basement fire.
20 teams, each consisting of a police officer, firefighter, and a natural gas technician, scrambled to the 8,000 homes possibly affected. At fault, an issue with a high-pressure gas main. Residents with gas service from Columbia Gas told to shut off their gas immediately and evacuate to neighborhood shelters.
They just came down the street and said, get out of your houses right now. So we went.
At least 25 people injured. 18-year-old Lionel Rondon perished when a chimney from one of the house explosions fell on his car. Columbia Gas saying in a statement, the first priority for our crews at the scene is to ensure the safety of our customers and the community.
Injuries range from smoke inhalation to blast trauma. As far as a timetable, we're told that people who have homes that are affected by this shouldn't expect to return home until later today at the very earliest. The gas company is currently in the process of going door to door to 8,600 homes. Lindsay Davis, ABC News, Lawrence, Massachusetts.
And ABC 7 business commentator Jeff Stern joins us now with a check on Wall Street. And after last week, Jeff, we've seen a lot more green on Wall Street this week.
That is correct, Scott. And the Dow is not leading. NASDAQ's back leading. NASDAQ's up about 1.25% for the week, while the Dow and S&P positive 1%. We know tomorrow, Saturday, is the anniversary, 10 years since Lehman Brothers actually fell, and not good back then. The good news since then, the last 10 years, the S&P has been up over 300%. So that is a positive thing. The 10-year Treasury is even bumping up. We see 2.99%, almost back to over 3%. And even when I woke up this morning, the futures were positive. So let's hope we're still there. When I woke up, or excuse me, let's see how the numbers are right now. 26,192, up 48 points, 0.19%. NASDAQ, 8,029, up 15.5 points, 0.19 as well. And the S&P is positive. We see that green arrow, 2,906, up almost 3 points, almost 1/10%.
Well, Jeff, more companies are adding to their portfolios, and I understand that Hershey is getting healthier.
That is correct. Hershey's back on that track. They're going to buy Pirate's brand, believe it or not, that makes Pirate Booty Smart Puff for $420 million. Last year, they bought Ampfly snack brands, which is Skinny Pops, as well as Oat Mega Whey protein bars for $1.6 billion. We've seen this trend really in a positive for evolving some of these companies. Conagra bought Pinnacle Foods for $10.9 billion. That's Smart Balance and Udi's Gluten Free. Pepsi bought SodaStream, $3.2 billion. General Mills bought Annie's, we all know that brand, for $820 million. Even Campbell's Soup bought Bolthouse Farms, which sells the smoothies that we all like at the grocery store. Hershey definitely is excited about this, and they see some more opportunity. Unfortunately, the stock's down about 6% for the year, but trying to get a little more healthy, but we all love that chocolate.
Yeah, we do. All right,
Definitely.
Jeff, thanks
Have
so
a great
much.
weekend, Scott.
You too. Still to come in your Suncoast News, we'll have the latest on Hurricane Florence, about the power outages and the flooding underway right after this.
The ABC 7 Stock Report is sponsored by Sunset Cadillac.
Our nation's servicemen and women show great courage and leadership, both on and off the battlefield. When they transition to civilian life, they can apply the skills and values they learned in the military to the workplace. That's why the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes is urging employers everywhere to be smart, bet on a vet. Hiring a veteran is also a great way to show your appreciation for them. To learn more, call 1-888-44-SALUTE.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style or this, or maybe this? Contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, fishing, or biking and hiking. Or play the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy the flavors of the Black Belt. Book your adventure at our lodges or stay in the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Conquer your next adventure. Get a new Jeep at a great price during Jeep Adventure Days at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota. Shop the area's largest selection of new Jeep Wranglers, or get the most awarded SUV of all time, a new Jeep Cherokee, for as little as $19,999. Find the path to your next great adventure in the all-new Jeep Compass for just $17,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota today.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself. Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Kettle's got it. Kettle's got it.
Kettle's got what you're looking for at Kettle.com. 17 new car brands, over 1,000 used vehicles, prices and payments you can afford. Credit help if you need it, and they pay cash for your old car. Plus, Kettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Need service? Kettle's got that too.
Kettle's got it.
Visit Kettle.com.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Welcome back. Good to see you. I'm meteorologist Josh Stone in for John Scalzi on this Friday afternoon. We're looking at our live radar for the Suncoast right now. It's quiet now, but later on this afternoon, early this evening, some showers could get going. Now, the sea breeze convergence will probably be further inland, so any of the football games may be being played towards the coast. I think we should be okay. Now, let's talk about the other big story. We have Florence. This is a Category 1 hurricane, officially made landfall earlier this morning. And Florence is actually going to influence our weather. Now, how is that possible? It's actually tracking right into the Carolinas. But the backside of Florence, well, we have that counterclockwise swirl, and we're going to have more of a northwesterly wind component that comes into the Suncoast over the weekend. So not only will it keep us dry because the storms, and like today, the convergence will be further inland for those storms to ignite and mostly push eastward, but also just the other day we had a report of the red tide being rather high. And with a westerly wind coming off the Gulf of Mexico, that's unfortunately going to bring that smell of the dead fish further inland. So if you're sensitive to that, just keep that in mind. Now let's talk about Florence. Category 1 storm. The other day it was a Category 4. Now it takes a long time for that energy to wind down as far as the waves, so big storm surge taking place along the coastline. Now the winds have come down. Right now, I believe the winds are just 80 miles per hour. I'll say just 80, but 80 miles per hour sustained is pretty strong. It's a minimal hurricane, but the wind field has expanded. So we're talking about maybe 80 mile per hour sustained winds with higher wind gusts, maybe over, say, 100 miles in width. So kind of a big span there, and you can see where the very heavy rain is coming down. This is going to be a flood maker, no doubt about that. Maybe by the time this wraps up over the next 3 or 4 days, could possibly see up to 30 to 40 inches of rainfall accumulated in certain spots. You can see the wind field starts to wind down as it tracks over land because it starts to lose that fuel from the water. The power outages think Scott reported over 500,000 people without power. And of course, the rain accumulating will be a major problem, especially as this tracks further inland and then get picked up by trough going to the northeast. It's going to be over mountainous terrains and the Blue Ridge Mountains. You're talking about heavy rain coming down, could potentially have some mudslides. So the latest stats on it, 80-mile-per-hour sustained winds moving very slow to the west at 6 miles per hour, and then it will bank up to the north and then eventually to the northeast in a few days. So it's a slow mover, and we don't like to see slow-moving storms because they can cause some trouble. Now, there's also another storm, Tropical Depression Isaac. We're watching this closely. It is in the Caribbean, making a westerly, northwesterly trek, but it will encounter some wind shear, and we don't really think it's going to be a problem if it even enters in the Gulf of Mexico, but we'll keep our eye on it. For today's high, upper 80s, partly cloudy skies, but for the football games, just keep an eye to the sky. Could have some outflow boundaries from some of those inland storms that could ignite some storms, maybe tracking towards the coast, but that would probably be in the southern portions of the viewing area. A dry weekend ahead of us, and then into next week, the rain chance ramps up. Back to you, Scott.
Josh, thank you. This is a live look now out of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. You can see the weather still stormy there, high winds, big waves. Of course, this is a historic site, the Wright brothers' first flight. They would not want to be flying on a day like today, for sure. Now, residents in Maui are still assessing the damage from Tropical Storm Olivia. That storm producing heavy rainfall and strong winds that pummeled the Hawaiian island Thursday. Raging floodwaters washed away a bridge, several homes and vehicles. Some had to scramble to escape as a torrent of muddy water flooded their properties. Flooding devastating a farm near a stream. No one was hurt, but one person called it the scariest time of his life. Here on the Suncoast, no swim advisories are up for 2 area beaches. Sarasota County health officials say the Venice Fishing Pier Beach and North Jetty Beach have potentially harmful levels of bacteria in the water, likely due to red tide. Health officials will do another round of testing later today. For now, the beaches are still open, but swimming is not recommended. All right, time for lunch. Let's check in with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher, who's joining us today live from Speaks Clam Bar on St. Armand Circle. Hi, Judy.
Here we go. First and foremost, there is no smell of red tide whatsoever. It is a beautiful day out here in the 80s and sunny on the Key, and the doors are open. It Speaks Clam Bar. Look at this. We're going to get to see the homemade pasta machine. Now, all the pastas other than gluten-free are made right here in the machine. This is a ravioli maker, but not only does it make the ravioli dough, it actually fills it. So they've put in that luscious ricotta filling, and they're able to take their homemade pasta and make that. So we're going to sit down, get to meet Natalia, the owner, and find out what Speaks is all about. I've eaten here a few times already, and it's delicious. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
When I was growing up, my mom told us, always treat others the way you want to be treated. She did business with companies that shared her values, like Mutual of Omaha. She had a guaranteed whole life insurance policy through United of Omaha Life Insurance Company, a Mutual of Omaha company. When my mother passed away, her United of Omaha policy helped cover her funeral expenses and bills, and they had money on its way to us within 24 hours.
United of Omaha is here to take care of you. When you call the number on your screen, we'll help find the right policy for you. If you're between 45 and 85, you can get coverage up to $25,000 with no medical exam. Call us right now at the number on your screen.
Now I know I'll be taking care of my family, even after I'm gone.
United of Omaha guaranteed whole life insurance. Call or go online now. Be there for their future.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
To be able to just get my son here and not think about how we will pay for it it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
All right, let's meet our pet of the week. Josh is with the founder of Dante's Den and host of Animal Outtakes, Marsha Pernucci, to tell us more about Jace.
All right, Scott, thanks so much. Well, Marsha, I think this dog's bigger than I am.
Guaranteed. On the back legs, we'll go over
But
it.
very calm, very well-tempered.
There's our boy, yeah. This, of course, is a beautiful Akita, and I absolutely love this breed. They're so bright. They're so intelligent. You look at that face. And Jace is a gorgeous.
Hey, Jace, we said your name.
Is a gorgeous, gorgeous color. The beautiful double coat that you see here, coloring almost like a shepherd, a caramel shepherd. But he is, of course, look at that gorgeous tail. You always want the caboose to look just as good as the engine, and on Jace it certainly does.
You talked about a double coat. Is that a problem for a dog like this in Florida?
Well, you know, we do live in air conditioning, so that's very helpful. If the dog is going to be outside for long lengths of time, it doesn't matter if it has a double coat or a single coat. You can't have them out in this sun without fresh water, and you don't let them run around because we get exhausted from this heat.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine them?
How old is he?
Well, I think he's about 7.5 to 8 years young. And listen, you don't want a puppy in this kind of a dog. You want a dog that is absolutely trained. Jace is. Can obey commands, is definitely housebroken, loves to ride in cars. And you know, I always look at these Akitas as protectors of a family, especially children. Once they realize what their job is, and this is a dog that needs a job. So if you give them a job of shepherding your kids, they will do it very, very well.
So how can we get him a home?
Well, you can give a call to the Akita Rescue Society of Florida, 603-289-8899, and say that you saw Jace, and perhaps Jace will adopt you.
All right. Thank you so much, Marsha, for coming on, bringing
you.
Jace, and back to you, Scott.
Hope Jace finds a good home very soon. Let's get back now to Culinary Director Judy Gallagher, who's enjoying lunch today at Speaks Clam Bar on St. Armand Circle. Judy?
It is beautiful outside and it's beautiful inside. And I want you to meet Natalia, the owner. We just saw your amazing pasta machine. And I want to hear a little bit about your personal history and what Speaks is all about.
Thank you for having us, for coming here and having us on your TV station today. I really appreciate it. My background is I have a culinary background. I went through a culinary school in New York City, and my husband's family is from Long Island. So once we moved to Florida for about good 10 years, we were really, really missing that New York food. And anybody who's in New York,
are you kidding me? Hello.
can appreciate that. So we decided to open Speaks,
It's so much fun, and you have this great play on Prohibition. Let's talk about that.
Well, it came together beautifully because we're seafood and we have Italian flair, so we are a play on the traditional New York City clam bars. But then before we opened the restaurant, I was testing out several bars in New York City. And
I wish you called me for that one. I wish we knew each other then.
The next one.
New research and development for the next one.
Yes. And I learned to drink whiskey. And then we were trying to think what can make us really unique.
Mm-hmm.
So we came up with this whole idea of why don't we celebrate the end of Prohibition?
I love
with
it.
craft cocktails and fun.
I love it, and it truly is fun. What has it been like for you to transition over to Sarasota and open, well, you have two now, both on Lakewood Ranch and now here in St. Armands?
Well, we bought the building about 4 years ago, and it's been under construction. It took it took a long time to come up with this. So meanwhile, my brother-in-law, who's my partner, lives in Lakewood Ranch area, so that location came up. So we said, you know what, let's just go ahead and open.
And then he has a place to go for lunch or dinner any day.
Any day, and then his mom, and then we got such a warm welcome from the development that we were so excited to open this location. We had people standing outside. We live in prints on the windows.
Well, it's finally here, it's open, and it's serving deliciousness both at the bar and right here, as you can see. We'll be back in a few minutes to talk about all the delicious food that's on the table. Be right back from Speaks Clam Bar in St. Armands Circle.
Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Outback is an IIHS top safety pick for 10 years running. Lease a new Subaru Outback today for just $249 a month, or get 0% financing with 0 down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TruStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
Attention, do you have Medicare? Do you want to make sure you have the most benefits and lowest possible out-of-pocket costs? You may be able to lower your out-of-pocket costs and get dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage included in your plan. Call the Medicare Coverage Helpline now to find out what you deserve.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Buchwald. Over 3 million people have called the Medicare Coverage Helpline, but there are still many people who don't check to see if they're eligible for more benefits and lower out-of-pocket costs. It's so easy. One simple free call could save you money and get you more benefits. Be smart. Call the Medicare Coverage Helpline now.
Call now to see if you may be eligible to lower your copays and get extra benefits, including dental and prescription coverage. Don't delay. Call to see if you're able to save money and get more benefits now. Call 1-800-711-7200. Again, call 1-800-711-7200 now.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Hurricane Florence is definitely letting its impact show right now.
Florence, pounding rain on the Carolinas, the destruction causing, and why this is only the beginning for that state and others. Plus, a former state house candidate who admitted to lying about having a college degree reaches an agreement with prosecutors to avoid jail time. And 10 years later, many people still mourning the loss of little Kaylee Anthony, how she's being remembered, and what one couple is saying about the tragedy.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 12:30.
Welcome back. Hurricane Florence, now a Category 1 hurricane, making landfall a few hours ago in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. It's produced wind of more than 100 miles an hour there. That is the highest in that area since 1958. More than 500,000 people are without power in North Carolina alone. And this is a live look now out of Wilmington, North Carolina. Flooding, really a major issue in several areas near the North Carolina coast. ABC's Natalie Brunell is in Wilmington.
Hurricane Florence lashing the Carolinas. The slow, vicious storm delivering sheets of rain and ferocious winds topping 105 miles per hour in Wilmington. Waters rising rapidly.
Rainwater and surge are forcing sounds and rivers over their banks.
In New Bern, North Carolina, waves reaching first-floor windows, prompting emergency situations.
I've never seen this kind of damage here.
Hundreds needing rescue.
Oh gosh, it's like a bombs have gone off here. There's a lot of water.
Along the Outer Banks, swift destruction, deadly storm surge engulfing homes. ABC crews spread throughout the storm zone, caught in the thick of it, like meteorologist Ginger Z.
I came inside because at one point while we were out there in the eye wall, the winds were so severe that the deck we were standing on started ripping apart.
The storm's disastrously slow crawl, dumping feet of rain, a relentless assault that will continue into the weekend. The developing concern is high tide, which just started at 11 a.m. and will continue to push dangerous flooding into communities and make rescues even more difficult. In Wilmington, North Carolina, Natalie Brunell, ABC News.
And this is a live look now out of New Bern, North Carolina. There, the winds are still blowing, rain is still falling in that area, and that is where flooding has trapped more than 100 people who were calling for help. They did not evacuate. And it's proven to be a bad decision by many of those folks who were calling for help to help them get out of those floodwaters. Apple already donating to Florence relief efforts. In a tweet today, Apple CEO Tim Cook said Apple will donate $1 million to the American Red Cross. The hurricane causing significant flooding, of course, across the Carolinas. Forecasters say the destruction it's causing could be catastrophic. Remember, we still have more than 2 months left in hurricane season. We have a lot of valuable information on our free ABC 7 apps and on our website, mysuncoast.com. Meteorologist Josh Stone in for John today to talk about the weather. Hi, Josh.
Hi, how you doing? You know, we have Friday night football tonight, and looks like we're going to be okay, at least along the coast. But of course, the big story, the weather and news story, is what's happening to our northeast, and that's Florence. And as Scott just talked about, it's a Category 1 storm, and it's sitting and spinning around, and this is going to eventually start to weaken, but the rainfall situation is not going to weaken anytime soon. Unfortunately, since Florence is moving so slow, we're going to have maybe potentially 30+ inches of rain accumulate in some locations. The latest stats on Florence: 80-mile-per-hour sustained winds, and as you can see, it's moving very slow to the west, and eventually it will be picked up by a trough and slingshot back up to the northeast. Quick look at today's planner, because we talked about Friday night football. We're going to have our highs in the upper 80s today and a few inland storms that will start to get going later on this afternoon. Scott?
In other news today, a former Lakewood Ranch politician who admitted to lying about having a college degree agreed to a deferred prosecution agreement today. While running for a state house seat, Melissa Howard lied about having a degree from Miami University of Ohio. She later dropped out of the race when university officials said the degree was a fake. State Attorney's Office says Howard will be required to perform 25 hours of public service and pay fines.
A deferred prosecution agreement is available for first-time offenders. Ms. Howard has no prior criminal history, which makes her eligible for this program.
Now, if Howard does not abide by all these stipulations, she will face a first-degree misdemeanor for misrepresentation. We called and texted Melissa Howard for comment, but she did not respond. This year marks 10 years since the death of 2-year-old Kaylee Anthony. To this day, many people still have a theory on how the Orlando toddler died. ABC 7's Stephanie Webb takes a look back.
Last month, Kaylee Anthony would have turned 13, finally a teenager. But instead, her life was cut short at the age of 2. She went missing in July of 2008. In December of that year, her body was found here on this swampy piece of wooded property just a few blocks away from the Anthony home. Her mother, Casey, charged with first-degree murder, but later found not guilty.
I don't thought the prosecution was able to show how she died. What was the motivation?
It was a story and a case that affected many all over the world, including the Goodnows here in Sarasota.
We were watching it on television, like every American that was out there. And again, we have 13 grandchildren.
The couple accidentally became a side part of the Anthony story. They went to pay their respects at the site where Kaylee's body was found because it had become the only memorial site for the public. And Wally decided to build a cross to add to that memorial.
So in 2 days, I built a cross. Janine decorated the cross, and we took it to Orlando, and we set it up early in the morning. And when we came back about 2 hours later after eating breakfast, there was a bunch of toys around it.
The first cross was removed twice, and the next, and the next. In all, Goodnow built 4 crosses to leave at the side of the memorial, but all were taken down, at least once by the realtor selling the land, and another by George Anthony himself. So, 10 years later, where is everyone? Well, Casey Anthony turned 32 this year. She mostly stays under the radar living in South Florida near Palm Beach. Her parents, George and Cindy, still live in the same house in Orlando. George has said in numerous interviews he no longer speaks to his daughter and does believe she's guilty. Mom Cindy says she speaks to her daughter, but only sporadically. Stephanie Webb for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
New details now in the Pinellas County case of a murdered 2-year-old. We're now learning the day before Jordan Bellevue went missing, a case manager warned his biological parents he could once again be taken from them. The case manager warning them on August 31st during a visit with the toddler's mother, 21-year-old Cherise Stinson. The next day, the boy disappeared, and a few days later, his body was found. Stinson is now charged with his murder. The boy had previously spent more than a year in foster care, and earlier this year, the boy's court-appointed child advocate told a judge he should not be returned to his mother, but her objection was overruled. The funeral for Jordan is scheduled for tomorrow in Clearwater. You get the latest breaking news across the area, as well as your forecast. You can download our apps, go to your app store and look for WWSB or My Suncoast. Number of guardians hired to protect students in Manatee County schools is growing. Happening today, 13 more guardians will get their certificate from the Manatee County School Board. Next week, there will be 31 guardians on duty and 2 lead guardians. 7 more will start training on Monday. The county has been working to fill 40 positions for months as part of the Stoneman-Douglas Safety Act, which requires every school in the state to have an armed security officer on campus. Well, more than 800 Manatee County students are heading back to school on Saturday because tomorrow is the 18th annual Career and Technical Student Organization's Fall Leadership Rally. 800 middle and high school students will gather at Braden River High School. The program is designed to promote student leadership, communication, and team building skills. Let's get back now to Judy Gallagher, who's joining us today from Speaks Clam Bar on St. Armand's Circle. Judy?
Okay, we have to start with the fried calamari because it's so light. I almost hate to call it fried because it's so tender.
Oh, it's a perfect dish. It is lightly dusted. It is quick fry, and it is crispy, and then when you put it in your mouth, it just melts, because we always use fresh calamari, not frozen.
And it makes a difference with the tenderness. Now, I love linguine clam sauce.
Oh my goodness, it is just such a classic dish. We kept trying and trying and trying. It's my husband's favorite, so we wanted to make sure that it's
And
just
mine
like...
too, so I'll have to
well,
join
there you
him
go.
for a plate soon.
Yes.
And over here, is this one of the new dishes?
It is one of the new dishes. So we had eggplant sticks on the menu, and then I've been making that for the last 10 years. So my husband suggested, well, why don't you try it out and put it on the menu? So I made it for our team, and everybody loved it so much, so it ended up on the menu just a couple of months
Lucky
ago.
team. I'd be the person that said, well, I really can't tell, so let's do another taste.
Well, I made a huge tray. When I cook, I cook.
I love this woman. Let's talk about the arancini.
Oh, the arancini balls, it's a risotto and shrimp ball. So inside we have chopped shrimp, and inside there's a little piece of the mozzarella. So when you dig into it, when you open it, it just melts.
The
and
texture is so
It is
creamy.
delicious. And all of those dishes I serve with a choice of sauce. So we have, as a traditional clam bar, we have 3 different sauces. One is the traditional marinara, which is our sweet sauce, and then we have the medium and the hot for those who like it hot.
I love that you have your option on those sauces. You know, this is a classic and wonderful dish. Tell us.
The veal milanese. I'm very particular about my veal milanese, and we make sure that we pound it perfectly thin, and just for that perfect flavor finish in your mouth, we top it with this beautiful garlic butter.
Look I love how expressive you are. You and I must be sisters from another mother, because we get so excited about our food.
About food.
I can tell. Let's talk about this beautiful seafood.
So we have
bowl.
Corfu seafood linguine, which is, oh my goodness, it's a cornucopia of seafood. We have the mussels, we have clams and calamari and shrimp in there, and olives and some vegetables, eggplant and artichokes. It's unbelievable.
Now, being a New Englander, I know me some lobster rolls, and I love that you have options on your lobster roll depending on where you come from the country.
Oh, definitely. We have, so this is the traditional Maine lobster roll, which is a cold salad served on a split top bun. And of course, the sides have to be buttered and toasted.
It's mandatory. Now, we're going to take a quick break, maybe sip on one of these post-prohibition cocktails, and come back with some sweet treats with a dessert. We're here at Speaks Clam Bar, and that's right on St. Armand Circle.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do it yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY. If you don't want to fall immediately into love, look away. If you don't want to awaken a desire for excellence, look away. If you don't want to be seduced, please look away.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
On the next Black Almanac. Suncoast residents are taking closer heed to monitor environmental risk in our own backyards since following the water contamination crisis in Flint, Michigan. What's been noticed? Residing in certain zip codes may increase your chances of heart and lung ailments.
We really need to work together as a community to come up with some good solutions and also to protect and uplift the people affected by this.
Sunday morning at 7:30 on ABC 7.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
My name is Blake. I received a heart transplant when I was 2 weeks old. I play defense for the Red Hot Tornadoes. Sometimes my heart starts pounding like faster and faster as I go. I know I have someone else's heart inside me. It makes me feel happy because someone was generous enough to give me a second chance to live.
This gift of life was made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
All right, welcome back, everyone, and happy Friday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Josh Stone in for John Scalzi today. Well, we're looking at our live radar along the Suncoast, and it is quiet until maybe later on this afternoon. The sea breeze convergence, thanks to more of a northwesterly westerly wind today, will actually ignite some of the storms inland, and maybe as they decay eventually, those outflow boundaries may trigger off some shower activity closer to the coast. We'll have to watch that pretty closely. I know there's a lot of Friday night football games tonight, so we'll keep our eye on that. Of course, the big weather story and the news story is what's happening to the northeast of Florida, and that's Hurricane Florence. Just the other day, it was a Category 4, massive storm, but it lost its intensity. However, it takes a long time for the waves to die down. So the storm surge coming into the coast was like basically Category 3, Category 4 waves coming in. But the winds died down. Officially, it made landfall this morning. The winds were around 90 miles per hour sustained. That's strong, but it could have been a lot worse if it came in as a Category 4. But when these storms start to weaken, the wind field expands. So talking about 90 mile per hour sustained winds with higher wind gusts, maybe stretching over 100 miles. So the latest with Florence right now, you can see it sitting and spinning. It's a very slow mover, producing extremely heavy rain. And since it's a slow mover, much like Harvey last year, as that went into Texas, it sat there and spun around and around and around, these very heavy rain bands tracking over the same areas. So by the time this wraps up, potentially maybe 30, possibly 40 inches of rainfall could accumulate in some locations. Power outages, as Scott said earlier, about 500,000 people without power, which is expected, obviously, with the heavy rain and the gusty winds. A lot of tall trees here, too, so those trees can topple over some power lines. And wouldn't be surprised if some of the power companies did cut the power anyway, just to avoid any sort of issues there. Rainfall amounts, you're talking about 4 plus 5 inches of rain an hour coming down. That's right, you do the math there, and you can tell this is going to accumulate very quickly. What's not quickly is the track, as I talked about earlier, and it continues to move towards the west, and then eventually it will be picked up by a trough and slingshot up to the northeast. So the latest stats on Hurricane Florence, 80 mile per hour sustained wind, so it's hanging on to hurricane life barely, and it is moving extremely slow. And as you can see, eventually, maybe by later on Saturday, it will be caught up with that trough and taken up towards the north and east. You can see where the trough is up here in the upper portions of Montana and North Dakota right now. It'll take a while for that trough to get and over to pick up Florence. Another system here is Isaac. We're watching this pretty closely, but due to wind shear, looks like Isaac won't be much of a problem in the future for us, but we'll keep our eye on it. 88 degrees for a high today. Expect partly cloudy skies. Remember, the football games tonight could be a shower or two, but I think most of the shower activity will be inland. A drier forecast is in store for us this weekend. Again, more of a westerly wind will take place. Any storms that fire up will be inland and then push eastward. And then the rain chance does ramp up as we get into the middle part of next week. Scott?
Well, as we continue our coverage of Hurricane Florence, this is a live look from the New Bern, North Carolina area. This is where there's been a lot of flooding. Now, this is a small town, New Bern is. It's at the confluence of 2 rivers. So you can imagine the storm surge, all that water being pushed up those rivers, causing them to overflow their banks and then flood areas. More than about 150 people were trapped there because of the flooding and calling to be rescued because they did not evacuate. We'll have more on Hurricane Florence throughout our day, but first, some breaking news out of Washington where this hour, President Trump's former campaign chairman is pleading guilty to avoid a second trial. Paul Manafort facing charges connected to his lobbying operation in Ukraine. Jury selection was supposed to start on Monday, but Manafort's criminal indictment has now been changed to a plea agreement. Manafort to plead guilty to conspiracy against the U.S. and conspiracy to obstruct justice. 5 other charges will be dropped. A Virginia jury convicted Manafort of 8 bank and tax fraud charges last month. Still to come in your Suncoast News, we'll check in one more time with Judy live out in St. Armands. And then in entertainment news, what the top movies are opening up in theaters this weekend and how they're expected to fare.
From the moment she walked in the door, we stopped having to go to the pharmacy. Certain prescriptions, my health plan or the pharmacy wasn't even able to get here. And hospice provided them, and all we had to do was call up, and the next thing they know, there was another, a delivery.
You want a Maserati, but you need an SUV. Why not have both? Levante, the Maserati of SUVs.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
What do you get when you cross your tired, aching back with this fragile egg? The Egg Sitter Cushion, an amazing new flex cushion that supports your backside and spine so well you can sit on an egg without breaking it. Incredible!
You want me to sit on this egg? Okay. Can't believe I'm doing this. I don't even feel it. It didn't even break? Oh, I was wondering about that. Now that's a good cushion.
The honeycomb design is constructed of Elasticor that absorbs pressure points by collapsing in on itself. That's why even this egg won't break under direct pressure. Now long days at the office will be more comfortable, dinner more enjoyable, and painful car rides a thing of the past. Get your Egg Sitter Support Cushion for just $39.99. It comes with a free non-slip washable cover and our 10-year comfort guarantee. But wait, call right now and you can get a second cushion. Just pay separate fee. Call now.
Call 1-800-232-1564. That's 1-800-232-1564. Call now or go to eggsitter.com. Order now.
Gettle's got what you're looking for at Gettle.com. 17 new car brands, over 1,000 used vehicles, prices and payments you can afford. Credit help if you need it, and they pay cash for your old car. Plus, Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Need service? Gettle's got that too. Gettle's got it. Visit Gettle.com.
There's nothing like this trail in Alabama. It just goes from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. We see all kind of different terrains, great value, and great fun. We've been coming for 18 years. We started off with a group of 8, grew to 12, and grew to 16. And we love it because where else can you get world-class golf courses with world-class accommodations? To be able to play these type of courses in this environment, and the difficulty keeps us coming back over and over and over again.
Well, it's certainly been a delicious lunch, but now we're going to go into dessert. And I love how they have the little desserts, look, shaped like a wine bottle, staying in theme. Tell us what you picked for today.
So we are staying with a Prohibition theme. So we serve our desserts in shot glasses. So we have a traditional tiramisu, deconstructed peanut butter pie, chocolate hazelnut mousse.
And I like how you have that extra smile with the chocolate hazelnut.
Well, I love that because when we spend a lot of time in Italy, and that was all Italy was about, is chocolate and hazelnut.
You're right.
Yes. So we have a caramel pistachio cheesecake. Ooh. We have a key lime pie, which is gluten-free.
Oh, I love Noe. That's so good. That's wonderful.
And we have one dessert that actually changes every season. So right now we have it as a strawberry cheesecake. In the month of October, I'm bringing a pumpkin cheesecake.
I knew you were going to say that. I'm so excited. Well, it sounds perfect. Why don't you grab a spoon and why don't I grab a spoon and I'll tuck into the strawberry cheesecake. I knew you were going to do it. I want to wish everybody a great weekend. Come out to St. Armand's Circle. It's beautiful out here, and Speaks Clam Bar. Cheers.
All right, Judy, thank you so much. Coming up later today on ABC 7 News at 4, we're going to have the latest on an investigation of a deadly shooting in Northport this morning, apparently a dispute between neighbors. We'll have more information on that. And then a new addiction recovery center is coming to Bradenton, but the location is causing concerns for those that live in that area. We hope you'll join us later today for ABC 7 News at 4. Facebook is expanding its fact-checking to include photos and videos on the social media platform. Until now, most of the work by Facebook's human fact-checkers was focused on text articles. Just like for articles, a machine learning model will flag photos and videos for potential inaccuracies. They'll then be sent to human fact-checkers for verification. Facebook says its 27 partners in 17 nations will take part in that fact-checking. In entertainment news today, the horror movie The Nun scared away the competition at the box office last weekend. This weekend, though, 4 new movies are gathering up their courage to challenge the champ. David Daniel has a look at the film's opening in theaters.
I think they're attempting hybridization.
Despite a casting controversy and mediocre reviews, The Predator is ready to attack the box office. Industry watchers say the sequel is tracking to open with $25 to $30 million or more, giving it a chance to top The Nun for first place.
Stephanie, I need your help. Are you okay?
A Simple Favor looks to have a simple open. Weekend estimates for the mystery thriller starring Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively range from $12 to $15 million.
You're gonna get in too deep, and then they're gonna let you out.
White Boy Rick, based on the true story of a teenage police informant and drug kingpin, is being positioned for awards season. Tracking indicates it'll be awarded a $6 to $10 million debut.
I just thought I'd be able to forget everything.
I want to go home. There is no home. Finally, the faith-based film Unbroken: Path to Redemption, about a former World War II prisoner of war converting to evangelical Christianity, is expected to open with about $3 million. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right. Of course, we're going to be keeping you up to date on Hurricane Florence and its progress there through the North Carolina and into South Carolina. We'll have updates on our social media pages and on our website, mysuncoast.com, throughout the day. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great afternoon ahead, and we hope to see you again at 4 o'clock.
The final 2018 Accord clearance is now during our Model Year In clearance sale. Drive new Accords for just $249 a month. Get an Accord, the North American car of the year, for less than the competition. With more standard features than Camry, Honda Sensing, multi-angle camera, turbocharged engine, and more. New Accords, just $249 a month. Your last chance for new Accords, all on clearance this week at your local Honda dealer.
Attention, do you have Medicare? Do you want to make sure you have the most benefits and lowest possible out-of-pocket costs? You may be able to lower your out-of-pocket costs and get dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage included in your plan. Call the Medicare Coverage Helpline now to find out what you deserve.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Buchwald. Over 3 million people have called the Medicare Coverage Helpline, but there are still many people who don't check to see if they're eligible for more benefits and lower out-of-pocket costs. It's so easy. One simple free call could save you money and get you more benefits. Be smart. Call the Medicare Coverage Helpline now.
Call now to see if you may be eligible to lower your copays and get extra benefits, including dental and prescription coverage. Don't delay. Call to see if you're able to save money and get more benefits now. Call 1-800-711-7200. Again, call 1-800-711-7200 now.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TrueStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TrueStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
Find out first at 4 with ABC 7 News at 4. Weekdays on ABC 7.